Hey.
That's my man. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. It's been a long drive. I feel like I'm in a different part of the world. Outside of my hometown. Fatz, as I said, I'm a man of gratitude. I just want to say thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. TikTok sensation. TikTok sensation. Social media legend, local legends. Local legend. We're currently in the newsroom that you do a lot of work.
Yeah, I built this for the youth in the area, so I do a lot of youth work, and we built this media room for them.
So what goes on in the media room? Give us a little.
So with the local youth, I created their news program. So I run a media company and a non-profit organisation, and I thought, why not use that power to bring it back to the youth and give them their own news program. So we interview local influencers, MPs, local officials, local business owners.
The kids.
Yeah, all the kids. They do all the interviews. They do all their own questions. They even get to film. So I have some of the kids behind the camera, some of the kids in front of the camera, and then I just supervise it. And then I'll go away, edit it, and be like, look, here's your finished product, guys. Well done.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Do you ever get like imposter syndrome? You're like, right, I need to ask this question. I
would love to,
you don't want to take it away from them.
It's down to them.
You don't want to have you got kids, by the way?
No, I adopted a child for roughly 4 or 5 years, and then he went back to his father, so I just raised him for a bit.
That's nice though. That's nice. So Fatz let's crack on with the podcast, man. I think I said to you off cam, I love your journey. I love the transitions, and I want people to understand a little bit about sort of like how you turn into how you become the man that you are now. Because obviously we're all on a journey, and I said before the cams run, life is full of transitions. We almost transition every day. But take us back to where it started for you, the rougher times.
Yeah.
And how it's escalated from that.
So I was a late bloomer. No smoking, no drinking, all the way up till I was just before 17. So I was a really late bloomer. I know a lot of people be fucking and drinking and drugs about 14 onwards nowadays, or if you're young again nowadays. So I got near my 17th birthday, and I was like, I'm not going to be a virgin at 17, fuck that. So I had my first sexual experience. That was like 4 pushes. I counted it. I was like 4 pushes and I bust my nut. So I was really excited about that.
It is a bit of a traumatic experience there.
Oh, so much so. It was just with one of my friends at the time, and she was like, I leant over her shoulder and I was like, yes, you just took my virginity. And she was like, what? I was like, oh yeah, and I'm done. I was like, done, and then afterwards I was like, do you want some ice cream?
Let's move on. Let's move on.
That's where it started.
Yeah.
And then from there I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna fuck, and then I'm gonna drink. So I drank, and it was just drink, sex and violence for me for many years. So from roughly about 17 up to about 24, 25, I was just like a massive dickhead, and always in trouble.
So like it started like the womanizer.
Oh yeah.
The womanizer started early on after your first sexual experience.
Yeah, there's I didn't care who I was fucking. There was no standards. There was just, I was drunk and I could pull women because I had confidence, and it wasn't me pulling women. It was the drink confidence. It wasn't me.
Yeah. Okay. So that you relied on the drink to give you this courage, to give you this confidence, to be able to feel the way you felt at the time.
Massively.
And I know as well. I've seen some of your stuff that you put on social media before. I know you mentioned that you come from sort of domestic violence background with, I think it was your father, I believe it was, wasn't it? And do you think that had a part to play in sort of like the lack of confidence to then move then? Yeah,
so when he was around, there was a lot of domestic violence at home, loads of violence. He was always beating up my mum. At that point in my life, I would always fight at school because there was always violence at home. When he left, there was no more violence at home, and I become withdrawn, so I got bullied and got beaten up a lot.
Okay.
So there was always kind of violence around, then there wasn't violence around, and then when it got the alcohol again, the violence come back around because I had the confidence again.
Because you still had the anger. Like, I suppose when you're kid, you don't really understand how to deal with that sort of thing, do you?
No, not
especially
at all.
When you're that age, like even some people now are still grown and don't know how to deal with that. So obviously the violence, the alcohol. You mentioned drug misuse. I don't know if you just said it then, or if I've seen some of your previous videos.
Drugs, I used to love the drugs. a lot of it was ecstasy at first. So I've never really been one for the weed, or was the solid back then as well, wasn't it? That pot, is it? Or whatever the brown stuff was.
Yeah.
So a lot of them used to smoke that. Then everybody went on the weed, but I've never smoked that. Never really done cigarettes. But then I started off on ecstasy. It's a bit of a big jump, to be fair.
Yeah. Clean. So, whoa, let's go.
Yeah, so it was ecstasy nearly every weekend, and I loved the idea. At the time, I was just off my nut. I was happy, and then I started on cocaine, because cocaine gives you that boost of confidence as well when you're out. And when the cocaine, you could drink more because you can handle more, because it livens you back up, and then you're like, fuck it, I'll drink more, and then I can do more cocaine, and then I'll drink more to sort me out.
And then you got the dopamine hit as well.
Yeah.
That it brings. Drugs is just full of the dopamine hits, isn't it? Really, just you just don't know what to do. So, did you crash a lot when you were on it? Like when you were off it, did you crash?
At first, I didn't.
Into a depressive state.
At first I was okay, so it was a lot of ecstasy and a lot of drink, and I didn't really get the down days. I didn't really get the crash straight away. I've always had sort of depression and panic attacks as a youngster because of my father. There was always mental health issues because of all the violence. But then when I found all these drugs, I was in a good place in my mind. I was like, yes, I'm doing loads of drugs.
So
I'm
was
around
it like
friends.
an escape?
Yeah, but it was just good times, and there was no crashes at first. And then as I carried on, as you know, you deplete all your good hormones, you deplete all your happiness, and there's never going to be that same experience as when you first started on drugs. It turns into addictive experience, and then there started to be suicidal thoughts, days I wouldn't leave the bed. There'd be 3-4 days after a cocaine binge, I'd just be like, I wouldn't wash, I wouldn't get up, I'd just order takeaway to the room, just get it from the front door, go back to the room.
Just not loving yourself.
I wanted to die. Yeah, there's so many times that I've taken tablets up to the bed, be like, right, do it, don't, done. Or I'll hold a knife, be like, right, just do the wrists, you're done. But
I heard that in one of your podcasts that you've done previously, and you mentioned how sort of your family, when you were thinking about that sort of helped you not go and do the full.
Yeah,
go
just the idea of my family been through enough shit. The last thing they need to go through is me adding to their problems, and that's the only thing that I think's holding me or held me back from taking that next step. I've always been so close to the edge, cried alone, gone to do it, and then been like, look, you can't put your family through this, and then talked myself out of it, and then you still feel shit for days or weeks. But yeah.
How do you deal? So do you still suffer with like depression, anxiety, and?
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't go away as much.
Yeah. It's not. I think we all suffer in ways, don't we? And I think because it's not an unnatural emotion. Like, is it having these down days and downsides? But I think especially as men, I've done work with mental health. Yeah. We don't express it as well, do we? Like, do you have anyone that you express to now, or is it just?
I never used to talk to anybody, so for years I just cry alone, break down alone. When I was raising a child, that was very difficult, and I remember there was a few times where you just fall on the floor with the amount of emotion that comes over you, and you cry, and I'd just scream and cry, fall down, be on the living room floor crying to myself, like, I can't talk to no one, I just have to deal with this, and then you pull yourself back up. But now I found it easier to talk to people slowly, and there is good people around me that I know I can talk to if I'm down, but luckily it's getting better.
How do you initiate that conversation? Like, just for people out there that might look, I know I need to talk to someone. Yeah. But even with me in the past, I'm a massive extrovert anyway. Yeah. I've had my times of depression, anxiety, panic attacks. Even as an extrovert, I always found it quite hard to be like, I'm depressed. Yeah. And I'm as I said, I don't struggle with that. So how do you initiate that sort of conversation with someone? Would you be like, I'm feeling like shit today? Or how would it go?
Luckily for me, I'm quite open online, so I won't put up loads of crying videos or me being down, but after maybe a session of crying or something, I'll say to people, I had a cry the other day, it's okay to cry, and I'll share it online, just with my followers, just so they know that everything's not rainbows.
Yeah, because this is the thing, and we live in a world of instant gratification, and we see all these influencers. And it's just you'll see in the highlights, mate. You don't see the lowlights. Do you know what I mean? We just see that. And I think that's something that, a lot of my followers often say to me, George, man, we can see the growth. Like, we saw you with 0 followers. Now you're at 800. I'm not saying I'm a massive, but do you know what I mean? It's getting there. There's progression.
Massively.
And progression makes me happy, man. Like, definitely. Because the opposite to progression, it means you're going backwards. Like, and I like the thought of people realising that I'm moving forward. Like, I remember my first podcast, it's my second podcast, I messed up the camera. I'm still messing. Yeah. It's probably isn't even recording right now. But, and I think it is about, isn't it, seeing the authenticity of someone's journey.
Yeah.
Like seeing, you do a lot of videos in your car. Like, there's not big studios all the time, and
I think that's what held me back though. Like you say, your second podcast, you messed up the camera up, but you can see you've gone from 0 followers to 800 followers. That's a massive progression. That's 800 people who've been like, he's doing something good.
Yeah, that's what I mean, man. And I only want to like reach out to a couple of them. Like, even if I can, I want to reach all 800, but if I know someone takes 1 or 2 messages of mine, I love that. That's what I'm doing. And you get caught up in these numbers, don't you? Like, going back to like the highlights, we see these people on Instagram that some of us sort of idolise, and we don't always see their down days, do we? And we don't always see. So I like the fact that, like you said, it's not all rainbows.
No.
And I've got a statement that I often say especially when I'm dealing with people that might be suffering mental health or just struggling in life, which is, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay there.
Yeah.
What's your view on that? Like, on that statement?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people will be like, it's not okay. It's okay not to be okay, and people will have their down days. But then a lot of people stay in their down days for such a long time that you're like, bro, you've literally got to get just out of that rut. You know, it's okay to feel down, but I think a lot of people stay down, and it is scary because they feel like that's where they need to stay. But it's okay, because it's okay not to be okay. Yeah. You're like, no, it's okay not to be okay, but you do need to come back.
Yeah, it is that as well. Like, innit? Like, I'm just sort of like reminiscing on some of my bad times, and I turned a bad 5 minutes into a bad 2 years. Yeah,
it's that easy.
Like, it is that easy, isn't it? Like, you can literally just like, something happened in 5 minutes and it changed the next 2 years of my life, and I'm like just reliving that. And then I think we end up like creating an identity around that state that we're in, and I don't want to be like, just don't stay there, because it's not as easy as that. But when I say that, like when I'm speaking to like the camera and the people, like, I think what I'm trying to say is, do one little tiny thing that's going to be able to make you feel that 1% better in that day.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Do you reckon that's
massively? A lot of people underestimate that 1%. A lot of people underestimate the compound effect, which is one of the best books I've ever read.
Yeah, it's a good book.
You know, if you say to people 1% every day, they're like, it's not much, is it? Like, yeah, alright, that's 365% a year. That means you've changed your whole life in 1 year. That's only 12 months. Yeah. And they're like, oh shit, we're already 6 months into this year and nothing's fucking changed. Yeah,
and also, as you said, 365% of the year, times that by 2, 3 if you're consistent. But and that's significant growth, substantial growth. And also, let's be completely honest, most people run in negative deficits anyway, because they spend a lot of time drinking and doing drugs, or knowing that they should be doing something but not doing that one thing that they need to be doing.
Yeah.
And speak on that. What do you reckon? Like,
it's a hard cycle to break out of.
It is. Like, to be honest, I still fight with that cycle.
Oh, so much so. You know, it's easy for me to say to someone, they'd be like, come on, Fatz, we haven't been out in a long time. Come out on Friday. But like, yeah, I haven't been out for a long time. Why not? Fuck it.
Start justifying it.
Yeah, and then you go out on the Friday, like, fuck it. Somebody else says, you come out on a Saturday. Be like, oh, fuck it. I did Friday anyway, so you do Saturday. Yeah. You liked it, you enjoyed it. Somebody says next Friday, come on, we'll go for another drinks. It was a fun last week, and next thing you know, you're 4 months into just going out every weekend. You're like, fuck. Yeah. I've given up the gym.
Yeah,
because I used to go to the gym every Saturday. Fuck. Yeah. I've given up time out with my missus, because I should be at home with my missus on a Friday. And people don't realise that these little ones that you can slip into, but the flip side is, you can pick up a daily habit and it could change your whole life. Like the compound effect. People are like, oh no, I'm never going to be changing my health. Put down that one chocolate bar every day to go for a 20-minute run every day. Yeah. In the next 3 months, your body is going to fucking massively shift because you're not in the same shit that you was in. Yeah. 20 minutes on one chocolate bar is nothing to change your day.
Yeah, no, it's not. And you can even tiny, like, make that even smaller, half a chocolate bar, 10-minute run. Like, you got, again, it's about that 1% change, isn't it? And like, I think a lot of the time as people, what we can often do as well is focus on too many things at once.
Yeah.
So I don't drink at all now, and mainly because I don't know, like I always feel like resentment on my past, like not resentment in what I've done, like resentment in the amount of time I wasted. I don't know if you ever feel like that sometimes.
Yeah, massively.
And like now I think like I'm 27, I think like my time is my biggest asset, like, and I don't want to improve massively, just like 1-2% every day, and I'm quite cool with that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the cycle that I think I get caught in is I do tend to focus on too many things at once. Because I want to do so much, I want to help so many people, I'm like, this is what I can do, blah 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 blah, and I'm going mad. And I've noticed that if I do one thing at a time, I can get more done. Like, and I think a lot of us try to stop drinking, try to start the gym, try to do this, get a new job, and I think what that means, we run around like a headless chicken sometimes, like trying to create all these things that better our lives, but end up actually not getting any of it done because our focus is like too broad.
I massively agree with that. A lot of people jump in the deep end when they're trying to learn to swim, and you're like, fucking just paddle your way in, bro. What are you doing?
Literally, just like ease in.
Like, a lot of people will go be like, I need to change my body, or they're unhappy with their body. And I only use this one because it's most relatable to people who are not on the drinking drugs, but it does relate to drinking drugs as well. Like, you don't have to fuck off all your friends straight away and just sit at home like a hermit crab. You can just slowly say, no, I don't want to come out for a drink once or twice a month.
Yeah, and that's it. As you said, like it's the small little steps.
Small things, a lot of people jump into when they're trying to work out, and I've seen so many friends and family, they come to me and be like, Fatz, you're in shape, I'm going to do this, and this, and this, and I'm going to be in shape in 3 months. I'm like, bro, you're going to be pissed off in 2 days. Let alone in shape in 3 months.
It's true though, like, they're like, I'm going to go vegan, like all these things, and it's just like, I had my good friend Andy on the podcast, talking about this, and we're not just talking about fitness, we're talking about real life, because as you said, you chuck yourselves in the deep end, and actually paddling your way in is a nicer approach because it's easier to sustain, and change won't happen unless you can sustain it. Like, and I've tried that many times. I've tried to break out of drug habits by going full whack, but you can't. It's not as easy as that because it becomes a habit. Just like brushing your teeth. Like, if you stop doing that for a couple of days, you'll probably never do it for another 5 or 6 days because you're not that. I brush my teeth twice a day. My dentist is watching. Don't worry about that. But and I think like these things that we underestimate, like the focus on one thing, and then just gradually work your way. Just take one step at a time. And I just want to know, like, with your history of the drink, the drugs, the violence, the not loving yourself, what bit of, if you could go back to your young self, what advice would you say to young Fatz? That sounds like a proper gang name. Young Fatz.
Young Fatz.
What would you say? Like, what's the...
if I could go back to him and, if I could just sit down and talk to him, like, bro, first of all, not everybody's against you, because I was just an arrogant, angry young man. Everybody fucking hates me. Fuck everybody. Fuck society. Fuck the police. Just angry. And to be honest, it's not everybody. Like, a lot of people think, oh, they don't like me. Most people don't give a fuck about you.
We care more about what people think than they care about what they think of us.
Exactly. And most people don't give a shit. Whether you're doing good or bad in life, most people not taking that much notice until you really do something extravagantly bad or extravagantly good. Most people just like, fucking they're doing something.
I suffer with that though. Like that, getting over that. Like, people don't care as much as I care about what they like.
But we all get there, if me and you went downtown now and we started filming in the middle of the town centre and we started doing some wacky shit, some of the anxiety might have built up and it's like, well, fucking hell, what do they think? But then if you was walking through town and you seen 2 geezers with a camera, you'd be like, fucking hell, that looks a bit funny, and you'll carry on walking.
You don't.
And they're probably thinking the same thing, but on the other end we'll be like, fucking hell, everybody's judging us, what they think of me doing this stupidness. And I think that's what I'd start to say to myself, like, nobody gives a shit, like, just do something different. And picking up books or some positiveness in my life back then, because I had no positivity. I had fake friends, I had loads of negative, like, drink and drug use, but there was no positives. There was no books, there was no self-education, there was no talking to positive people. If I had something like that dripping into my head, my life would have shifted, because I would have had some goodness going in. And that comes down to the analogy that I've used with your brain is a glass of water. I don't know if you heard me say that before.
I have, but just say it anyway because it's hard.
So your brain's like a glass of water. I don't know where I've seen this before, but your brain's like a glass of water, and all the drink, drugs, negativity, the fake friends, that's all dirty, cloudy water that you're pouring into this glass. And all the goodness like books, self-education, seminars, good people, you know, entrepreneurship, that's clear water. And you're pouring it into the glass. And at some point you're going to keep pouring that dirty shit in, and you're not going to be able to think because your mind's going to be full of shit and you're going to be cloudy. Or you're going to keep pouring that good water in and your mind's going to start thinking clear. You're going to feel clear. You're going to feel better. And it just comes down to that. What are you going to pour into your head the most?
Yeah, what are you going to feed your mind? And what you feed your mind, you become, because we become what our thoughts our thoughts are. And books is a big thing for me.
Ooh.
Like I listen to a lot of my books.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a natural reader, so I had to make sure that I can do this sustainable.
Yeah.
But you can't get away from what the subconscious picks up, can you? And when you're feeding yourself, as you said, like that goodness, that self-education, or even if it's just something that you're interested in, that's not related to self-education, but it's helping you, like, it's building your character. Almost. That's a positive thing, and I think, like, as you said, you can't get away from that subconscious, what the subconscious is feeding your conscious.
No.
And we then become that. So, like, when you're around, like, the drinks, the drugs, like the fake friends and things like that, a behaviour that's not acceptable then becomes acceptable because you're in that environment. And then when you take yourself out of that environment and you put yourself in a group of people that are not like that, that behaviour that was once acceptable becomes not acceptable. But you don't even really want to be that, because, like, you look at these people and think, oh no, but these are more who I want to be like these people here. But they don't accept the behaviour, so then it moulds your character again, like transitions it again.
You're the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most, or you're around the most, and I think a lot of people need to realise that. If you're hanging around with a fucking load of losers, that's it, that's what you're going to become. And
also, like, I mean, I would say if you're around people that you know are not good for you and you know the right thing is to drop them out.
It's hard, though.
Then drop them out. But what I would say, if you don't love yourself enough to do that, not you, the people, love yourself enough to do that, then, like, I think just being honest with people, like, that I don't want to hear that negative bullshit. Like, look, if you're gonna, because what it does, like, we're like batteries. We generate energy. Do you know what I mean? As people, we generate energy. So if I've got a friend phoning me up, moaning, that's draining me 20-30%. So that leaves me 70%. But that's 20-30% that my girlfriend won't be getting. That my business might not be getting. So that 20-30%, like, talk about compound. If that happens twice a week, that's 70%. That's 60% a week. That's draining away from things that you actually enjoy doing. That's a bit of a madness. Like, so I think being honest, at least that you can be like, I don't want to hear that bullshit, or like, I've got to start charging you if you want to talk to me like that. I need therapy for that. Do you know what I mean? I
think a lot of people do need to do that. You're very right, and I don't think too many do, because they're ready to listen to their friends' bullshit, or they're ready to be accepted in that social circle. And if you challenge anything in a social circle, I think it comes down like to a lion pack or some shit like that. But like, I don't want to be that guy who's standing out. I don't want to be that boring guy. Like, why are you being boring if you don't come out? Like, no, I'm just sick of your shit. That's all it is.
Yeah, but the thing is, we pay the consequence to that, don't we?
Yeah, the amount of times I've lost out on good friends, good relationships, you know, hurt myself in the long run because I was too busy listening to fake friends or doing shit that I didn't actually enjoy, but I was fitting in or I was cool.
And that's the danger.
Yeah, it cost me so much.
Like, and that's that I feel that pain.
Yeah, but nowadays you grow, as you say, you can grow now to a person. If somebody was to come to you and be like, hey, come and listen to this bullshit I've got to say, or you're sitting down the pub, you're having a little pint and they're just talking about some random shit that's a load of bollocks, like, yeah, when I do this I'm going to get rich, or I'm going to fuck all these birds, like, shut the fuck up, mate. You, like you say, you need to say it at some point. I'm sick of your shit.
Yeah, or if you don't want to say it, just drop them out.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's tough, but that is a form of self-love.
Yeah.
Like, and I do think that's hard. It's hard. That is hard. Like, even thinking now,
dropping people out.
Like, dropping people out, putting yourself first. Like, actually putting yourself first and your energy first, because we don't get 2 shots at this, what you call life, and we don't know when that clock's gonna. No. See you later. You're off out. I mean, I'm a man of God, so I don't know when God's gonna call my name.
Exactly.
But I at least want to know I've done the best I can. one of my biggest fears in life is not living my full potential. And I think as people, I heard this quote before, this is pretty sick. What our potential is amazing, but what we achieve is often disappointing, because not a lot of that is there. So that's And I think a lot. We talk about environment, we talk about self-education, we talk about the thoughts that go on, and this isn't no positive thinking bullshit podcast. It's not all about positive thinking.
Yeah.
It is, but it's not. Do you know what I mean? Like, positive psychology is a good thing, but there's also other elements of that, I believe, that can account, like decision making, critical thinking, etc. I can't remember what I was gonna move on to then, but I suppose what I'm trying to say is self-love. Do you know what I mean? Like, self-love is important. Like, we've both been on the wrong side of alcohol, on the wrong side of drugs, the wrong side of surrounding yourself in an environment that is not healthy for you. We're not saying that these people aren't good people. We're saying that they make me feel a certain way about myself and my behaviours.
Yeah.
And that, like, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I did a TikTok video the other day, and I was saying, you can't blame people for your actions, but you can fucking blame people for the influence in your actions or bringing you down that wrong route. Because if they're real friends, they wouldn't have told you to go cheat. They wouldn't have told you to take drugs. They wouldn't have told you to drink. And especially when so many people suffer with mental health, they turn to their friends, and their friends think, have a bag. Like, bro, I just told you I'm depressed. You're gonna give me something that's gonna make me more depressed? What kind of fucking friend are you?
No, it's true. And I bet that happens way more than we want to believe as people.
On a deeper note, how many of them have killed their friend because they've given them drink and drugs in a time when they needed a chat and some direction in life? How many of us have actually killed our friend because we decided drink and drugs was the only way that we can make them happy?
Deep. True. But deep.
Yeah.
And
it's horrible to think like that, but in some cases it might be the way.
And maybe someone hears that and decides to act differently towards their friend.
Exactly, that's what we need. You know, if somebody comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm depressed," and you give them a good night, you'd be like, "Fuck it, I'll give them a good night. It'll make everything better."
Because that's the norm, innit? Oh, I've had a bad day. Come have a drink.
Yeah, come have a drink.
Come do this.
Yeah, and I'm not against that. I mean, if you've gone out for 2 pints and then you've gone home because you've had a good chat over 2 pints and maybe a bit of grub, great. But most of it's, I've had a bad day. You're binging, then you get a bag in. Next thing you know, you're smashed up off your tits at 5 in the morning. You're going home, you still feel like shit. Fuck it, why didn't I slip my wrist? You bang, you kill yourself, and your friend's sitting there like, oh man, he must have been more depressed. Yeah, must have been more depressed than I thought. Oh well, at least I tried to help him. Fuck, did you try to help him? You just made him worse.
So what can we do as people when we're in circles to have our friends back?
I think we need to realise that what we say and do around our friends influences their life more than we ever imagine. Like, we're constantly feeding them the same way they're constantly feeding us. So if anybody comes to you and they say, I'm depressed, and the first thing you say is, let's get a bag, you're actually adding to their depression, because we know it is a depressant.
You're enhancing it.
Yeah.
So what about someone who hasn't said that?
If we know that people are going through a rough time, or we can, a lot of times you can see it in their eyes or their actions.
Yeah, you definitely.
Yeah, a lot of people say to me, "Fatz, you're smiling, but I can see it in your eyes. You're not all right." And then they'd be like, "Yeah, I'm not."
Good for it. That's good environment.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Massively, but we need to turn off this kind of social acceptance of deal with bad times with drink and drugs. No, we deal with bad times. We're like, what's wrong with your life? If you said to me, like, I'm not happy in my relationship and I'm not happy in my job, my first choice then would be, okay, shall we look at your CV or look at other job aspects? Do you want to meet up on Saturday? Let's see what job you want to get into. What do you enjoy doing? That would be my sort of mindset now. Like, years ago, I'd be like, let's get a bag or go fuck some women. Fuck your missus off, she's a cunt. Let's go do some fucking women. Let's get a load of coke in, let's drink. And then that would be the worst thing you could have said. And that's what I used to say to others and people used to say to me. But as a friend, I'd be like, right, your relationship we can talk about in a minute. If you're not happy in your job, let's go see what job you want to do. If you're not happy in your job anyway, why not change it? If you can't progress as a career, let's do you a new CV. Let's apply for new jobs. Let's see what you like doing. Yeah,
like that, and I think we.
Yeah, you got to take the action now. The video that got the most interaction online for me, I was sitting in my car with a mobile phone. Fuck the lights, fuck the camera, fuck everything that I set up, fuck all that time. The video that got the most interaction was me sitting in the car saying, "Who checked on you?" That got over 1 million views on TikTok and 1.5 million views on Facebook on 3 different people's accounts, and went worldwide and went viral and just blew up. And I was like, fucking hell. That took me a mobile phone and 60 seconds in a car to do that video. The fuck am I waiting around to do other videos for? Why am I waiting for camera angles? Why? The time is now. If you don't start now, you're wasting fucking time. If you do start now and you fail, you learn, and you're not wasting time. Because you've learned, next time you do it in a couple of days' time, you've learned a lesson. Like you said, your second podcast, you set up the camera roll. Boom, you learned a lesson. Third podcast, you know not to do that again. So for mindset now is just start now. And when it comes to positivity, like I said, people are getting too distracted with, we can't get to that point in life because it takes too far to get to that body. It takes too far to get to the first 10 grand. It takes too far. If you don't start something small now, you're fucked as well.
Further and further away, doesn't it? It does just get further and further away though.
Massively.
Like, and I love what you said, and this is, I've been guilty of this, and my friend Mo said to me, stop stacking ideas not to get done what you know you need to get done. Like, you're gonna get done at some point. Like, you can have the camera, you can have the lighting, you can have all the, you still won't do it because you want to stack more things, like, but you will do it at some point, and you would have been better off doing it now, and then by the time you get to the point that you want to do it, you might have some more insight on what this achieves. And I think we often do that. We stack. We stack ideas. Let me wait till lockdown's done. Let me wait till I can go abroad. Let me wait till the wedding comes up so I can lose weight. Let me wait until I'll get out of this bad stage so I stop doing drugs. Let me wait until the market changes so I can start this business. Do you know what I mean? And
massively.
So I like that. That's a good point. What other things would you say? Is there been a massive change in your mindset that has really reaped its rewards for you?
So a lot of people say to me, Fatz, has anybody helped you change? Like, has anybody influenced your change or supported your change? And I always say, fuck no. Like, there's not been a mentor, there's not been somebody like, hey, you need to do this. There's been people who've been along the way, been like, oh, you should probably change, you're a bit of a dick. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But nobody actually guided me. But putting on a YouTube video in the background while I'm cleaning and it's a motivational video, or background while I'm doing a workout, that's feeding my brain. Putting on a podcast now, because podcasts are great, just like this. People can put this on while they're down the gym. They'll get all the knowledge from this podcast, your podcast, and they'll come away a different person because they've learned from you, they've learned from me. Feeding the mind. People don't realise, like you say, you're not a massive reader. I was never a massive reader myself. But you can find audiobooks now.
And it's bare cheap.
Yeah. And that is one of the biggest things to ever shift your life. As long as you can pick up a book or listen to a book or listen to a podcast and change your thought process, you'll never be the same again. Like when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I never thought about work the same way. What the fuck do I want to work for somebody else for? They can go suck them up. Nah. As soon as I read that book, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I can't do this. And when you do take in this new knowledge, somebody might listen to your podcast and be like, fucking hell, what the fuck am I doing with my life? That's it. You're never going to think the same way again, ever.
No, and literally that is what I pray for. Like when someone listens to my podcast, but going away from this, me as a person, I've lived that. I can almost remember the moment my camera's not recording.
That's it.
Right, technical difficulty, but we're back. I can almost remember the moment where I legit remembered thinking I won't ever be the same.
Nah, I can't say I can pinpoint the moment. What was the moment for you?
I walked in to a seminar.
A seminar, yeah.
And I knew at that moment I wanted to be a motivational speaker.
What, by walking into the seminar or when you walked out? Was it just an epiphany when you walked in?
When I walked in, first seminar I went to, and I walked in and I looked around and I saw all the smiles. It's still not recording, man. Maybe we'll use the footage from yours.
Yeah, that one's recording. If not, you got this one recording as well.
And I remember. Yeah, and I just remember walking and seeing everyone smiling, and I got speaking to someone, and he was nervous like me, still doing things that I probably shouldn't have been doing at the time.
Yeah.
And I got there and I started chatting to mate. He's a bit nervous like me. We were speaking. He was like, yeah, but look, this is going to be real. This is going to be a mad experience. Enjoy it. And I was like, yeah, cool. Anyway, we got built up to the intro where they were about to introduce the speaker, and it was gassed. It was mad. And I looked around and bare people smiling, like laughing, and I could see like that in that moment they were unbreakable.
Yeah.
They could not be broken. And then 2 days into the seminar, because it was a 5-day seminar, people were crying in joy, and people were just loving. And at that moment when I knew that one person can make that sort of change to people,
Yeah.
I knew that's what I wanted to be.
Good for
I
that.
just knew, like, because I just knew I could. I knew I could do it because I was achieving it in other ways in my life, but just like the wrong ways. Like, if that makes sense, I was able to influence people.
Yeah.
Like, I was able to do that. I was a salesman during that time, so I knew how to speak to people. I knew how to do, and I just remember thinking, no, that's what I'm going to go for. I didn't change at that point, but I knew that's the point that I wanted to change.
That's like an epiphany moment in your life.
Yeah, it was. It actually was.
I can remember my first seminar, but I just walked away thinking, why the fuck didn't I do this years ago?
Yeah, it can get like that. I think I was 24 at the time, 22 actually. I was.
Can't even remember but I remember I travelled up to London by myself, and it was at the XL in London, the XL Centre.
Was it Tony Robbins one?
No, not Tony Robbins. I wish it was. I think there was Les Brown there, and there was a few kind of.
Les Brown's sick.
Yeah.
Les Brown's super sick.
And there was a few other speakers, a couple of entrepreneurs, and I remember going in there like, I don't fit in here. And I'm walking in alone. I've got my little notepad, and like I'm wearing a suit, I'm fucking proper overdressed. But I'm thinking to myself, everybody else in here is going to be overdressed, so I've got to be fucking. I'm professional. Fuck it.
Everyone's just wearing jeans and that.
Yeah, I'm like fucking. What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
But they don't know me, and I don't know them, so there's no sort of judgment. But I'm walking in thinking, oh, do I sit here? Where do I sit? There's like, you can sit anywhere, and I thought, this is not me, this is not where I should be. I should be down the pub, I should be sniffed off my nut. But then I was like, fuck it, I'm going to expect. And then as soon as they started talking, and then somebody sat next to me, and I spoke to him for that day, and I was like, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, mate. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. And like, you make like a little friend for that day, and you're like, fucking hell. Like, he's here to take the knowledge as well. And then I thought, fuck, this is nice. Like, it's enjoyable. And when you finish, I've taken all these notes. I've got pages and pages of notes of what they've spoken about. Everybody's cheering. Like you say, the atmosphere is great. I've made a new friend for the day. Come back the next day. We both sat next to each other again. I was like, yeah, buddy. And then I was like, yeah, did you get many notes? And we started swapping notes. And I was like, fuck.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Self-development. People don't, they underestimate it. Like, that took me, I think it was something like 50 quid to get the train to London and back for over the 2 days or something like that. And then you're talking maybe lunch, but I stayed at my nan's for the night because she lives in London. And you're talking under £100.
And you get something that's gonna reap so much more than what you paid that day. And like, just talk about self-development. How would you say self-development has changed your life?
Massively changed my life. I could never see myself being the same person. Like, if I didn't pick up a book, or I didn't watch a video, or I didn't put something good in, I'd still be sniffing coke or drunk off my nut or fighting police or in a cell, or probably by this point probably been locked up anyway. You know, if I didn't put that goodness in. Like, self-development, people think, oh, self-development is just going to be educational like school, and it's shit. No, because you get to choose the self-development that you want to do. If you're into fitness, go into fitness. If you're into the stock market, self-develop in the stock market. You get to choose whatever you like being in school, but there's no bounds to any categories. Choose whatever you like, learn about it, go towards it.
Yeah, literally, it's literally that simple. Like, the roadmap to business is you need to identify where you are and identify where you're going to go. Unless you do those two things, it's not valuable. If you're just focusing on where you want to go, but you need to know exactly what you want to get into, know where you want to head with it, and then go back. And you can't lie to yourself at this point. You can't lie to yourself where you are now, because that bit's crucial. That's the bit that hurts. That's the bit that it's easy to be like, I want to be a millionaire, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Everybody wants that.
But you got to figure out, where am I right now? Who am I right now? That's the hard bit. That's the hard bit.
And I think a lot of people don't realise that. They want to lie. They want to lie where they are. The amount of times I sat down a pub with someone, they'd be like, yeah, I'm going to earn this many grands next week. 6 years later, you're still down the same fucking pub, mate. Fuck off.
The same things.
Yeah, you changed shit.
And do you know the worst thing, like, as well, like, one thing I want to say about people, like there's two sorts of people. We got the people that perform and the people that critique. Now, it's we're trying to get to certain stages, like we're like literally stages for people like us. Like we're trying to get on the stage, like, but there's people out there that are really putting in the work, that are really performing, and they're trying to get to this point, but they're too busy fighting because there's someone over here that's not even performing, chatting shit that they can't get over in their head. So it's causing them self-doubt, it's causing them self-guilt. It's causing a lot of guilt. So we're trying to get to the big. We're trying to get to the big success. Well, I'm not talking about finance, I'm talking about health, relationship, whatever it is. And we're too busy fighting with the guys that are not even performing. It's just like, don't come at me when you're not even doing nothing. You ain't even doing nothing. Like, but we get caught up though, Fatz. Like I can get caught up thinking about someone that ain't doing nothing.
It's the hardest thing to argue with them as well. Like years ago I used to argue with everybody, so a lot of people was many years ago, you remember when a lot of Muslims got hate because there was terrorists, and I was always defending Muslims. I was like, fucking, I know Muslims who ain't like that, and I'd argue with people online, strangers online, I'd argue with them, trying to put a point across. Not everybody's the same, rah, rah. And then like, a few years later I was like, people will only ever understand shit, and you've heard this quote many times, people only ever understand shit from their own perspective or their own perception. And then I was like, fuck it, I ain't arguing with no one ever again. If somebody comes at me with some bad energy, some bad argument, they're like, Fatz, you can't do it this way, you can't do it that way, you're a piece of shit. Do you know what, bro? You're absolutely right. Have a good day. Argument done. I've saved my time and I've saved my energy.
You can't argue with them. You just got to carry on performing. It's just bearing in mind that a lot of those people ain't even doing nothing.
Another quote by Benny Banks was, you must have time spare if you've got time to hate, sort of thing.
Oh, 100%. They're the quietest people. Like, do you know what I mean? They ain't got nothing. But look, as we bring it to a close, I think that says 43 minutes on there. So that's nice. As we bring it to a close, we've spoke about mindset, we spoke about positive psychology, we spoke about sort of identifying where you are. Not being afraid to make mistakes and not trying to start when everything's perfect, just starting.
Oh, massively.
Is there anything else that you think that you'd like to say to the people that are listening? Whether it's to do with mental health, drink, drugs, whatever you think.
Anything they want to change. A lot of people are going to be different. Somebody might watch this and be like, I want to start a business. Somebody might watch this and be like, I want to stop seeing those fake friends. Somebody might be watching this and they'll be like, I want to change my health, my fitness, my finance. Everybody's going to have a different reason for either watching this, listening to this. Just fucking start. It doesn't matter how small the start is, whether it's mental health and you have to reach out and talk to someone, do it. Whether it's starting that business and you have to do a bit of market research, do it. Whether it's fucking starting getting fit, go for a fucking walk around the block, whatever the fuck it is, start today. Don't wait for tomorrow, don't wait for that Monday. Everybody wants to wait for that Monday. Start today, start small. If you fail at any of these points, you learn that lesson, you start again on Tuesday. You fail again Tuesday, you start again on Wednesday. Who the fuck cares how many times you fail, but you start. No matter what area of life you want to change or progress in, just start. Because if we're waiting for that special time, or we're waiting for that special opportunity, or we're waiting like I did for fucking about 3 years for the perfect camera angle, it's not coming.
It's not. You make it happen. You make that moment. You create that special moment. That thing that you're waiting for. That's what I learned very recently. That we create that ideal time. And I love what you said about waiting for that Monday.
No, Monday's the worst.
Nah, man. You do it now. Like, progression equals happiness. And people are happiest when they know they're going to start something. So, like, how happy are people when they think about starting a diet? They're like, when the diet starts, they're different. That happiness goes away. But because the progression inspired them, but the delayed gratification is the bit that people seem to struggle in, and it is a constant battle. Like you mentioned, you got to 1 million views, but how long did that take? And I bet the whole time coming up to that, you were doubting whether these videos you were doing it right, whether as you said, like, you've been trying to get the right angles and things like that. And I think that if anyone can take away anything, like, the time is now. Like, don't wait. Like, there's always opportunity in this world. We live in an abundance of opportunity, like literally an abundance of it. And just do that one thing. Like, if it's a diet, go throw out all the shit food that you don't eat. Do it now. If it's a business, get out the laptop and start figuring out what sort of business you want to do. Like, there could be so many things. And I think what I want to say as well I want to ask you, is there any quotes, any mantras that you live by?
Yeah, so one of the ones that I have at the end of all my YouTube videos, I have it on my website as well. It's a lovely quote, and it is something I live by. Change your mindset, change your life. Just for the simple fact that if I didn't pick up the book, if I didn't listen to the audios, if I didn't watch the videos, if I didn't go to the seminars, my mindset would still be the same and my life would still be the same. If you can't change your thought process, your mind, your life will never change because you're still thinking the same. You can't change your life if you're still thinking the same shit. So if you change your mindset, you will change your life. Or years ago, I used to say when I used to go down to the library, I'm changing my education to change my situation.
I love that. That's sick. That is sick. Say that again.
I'm changing my education to change my situation, and a lot of people don't realise. Fuck, it's just that.
It is literally like, and that's not going to be an easy process. Like,
No.
you're probably going to doubt the way you're learning, doubt what you're remembering, but then eventually you're going to say something to someone. And you're like, oh shit, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Like, you ever had those moments where you've been reading something?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, where did that? And then you say it out loud, like 2-3 weeks later. You're like, where did that come from? Like, I don't know, who's this guy? Like, and you start developing and you start like progressing as a person.
Yeah, all the time. Whenever I've finished a book or you get to a certain point, when you've taken new knowledge and you put it down or you stop watching or something, you be like, the fuck? How did I not think like that before?
Yeah.
And
Like
you become dumbfounded. You're like, fuck.
You realise
Why the
more.
fuck?
It's funny, isn't it? The more you know, the more you realise what you don't know.
Exactly that. And I've been telling people for years, like, that makes no sense. It will make sense when you learn that you don't know what you think you know.
Because people are too busy looking for a fucking straw.
Yeah,
when this world is...
A lot of people are arrogant to this idea of, I don't need to learn nothing, I'm good. If you're good, you wouldn't complain so much. Stop lying.
And also, ignorance is pain. Like, it just is. Like, if you're a bricklayer, you need to figure out how to earn more money or how to create more freedom. Like, there's always, I suppose what I was trying to say, that was a bit of a random analogy. Like, there's always room for growth. Like, there's something that I say in one of my videos, like, the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. That's it. Because there's always ways that we can tweak. And as you said, you change your education, you can change your situation. And it really is that simple, but the process isn't.
No.
So, Fatz, what can we expect from the future from you?
A lot more work in regards to videos. So I've got to start writing scripts for hard-hitting videos where I'm going to use my media company to create, like, not documentaries but short films. So one of them the other day, I was coming back from a youth centre, so I'm going to be doing a lot more youth working with youth. I already work with the youth here. I'll be working with a youth in another town. They contact me, they want me to come do motivational talks and media work. But on the way back I was like, wait a minute, bullion's a massive thing. So in my head I wrote a script about bullying. I was like, that'll make a great video. I can help people, I can inspire people. So loads more videos. I already do a lot of vlogging so people can see behind the scenes. But yeah, so much more content online. I write blogs, so if people don't want to watch, they can read. You know, there is people out there who do read, not many now. But yeah, there's just so much more content. I want to reach out, I want to reach people, I want to get to the masses, I want to go do speeches, I want to change lives. And I know I say it all the time, but I'm not stupid. I know I cannot change the whole world, but I can change someone's world.
That changes another person.
Yeah, it's the ripple effect. If I change one person's life, they might become a happier person or a more motivated person. And they go talk to their nan or their brother or a sister or mum or whatever. Then they just influence that. And so many people will come to me and be like, oh, my friend showed me your video. Do you mind if I talk to you? Not a problem. Let's talk.
Well, look, man, you've done a milli.
Yeah.
You've done a milli. That's a lot of people, man.
That is a lot of people. And that come from a video that wasn't really planned. So all that planning bullshit that everybody's going to talk about.
Yeah, throw it out the window.
Just start now.
That's great. Motivational speeches, in helping the kids, talking about bullying, because they can't get away from it now, can they?
No, you got online bullying, which is fucking ridiculous, and people are becoming more complacent with it because of everything that's online. You know, knife crime's just seen as normal now. Bullying's seen as normal now.
Yeah.
We might have a lot of snowflakes around, but everything becomes normal. Bullying, yeah. Suicide, yeah. Mental health, yeah. Like everybody becomes so normal because we've become. Yeah. What about yourself? Where do you see you go?
Me, yeah, similar, mate. More videos, more motivational talks. Like I'm getting bookings now.
Nice.
I can't believe it, man. Like literally, I started this journey a year ago, and I'm still a baby in the game. I still got loads to learn. I know I need to be more consistent on social media. But that 1% each day is stacked. It's stacked up now. Like I'm in deficit. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm in positive equity with it now. Like it's starting to pay me. Literally starting to pay me.
That's good.
I've got coaching clients and speaking, and I get to meet people like you, man. Like it's great. Like I can't believe it. Facts. So I'm blessed.
It's a good move. You should be proud of yourself, bro.
Yeah, man. Definitely. We all should. And if we're not, we can change that.
Yes.
And we're always going to change as well. Like, we're always going to change. But, Fatz, where can they find you on Insta?
So it's Mr. Fatz TV, MRFATZ TV, and that's for everything. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. It's always Mr. Fatz TV, but everybody just calls me Fatz.
Lovely, man. Well, look, as I said, man of gratitude. Thank you for coming on. A few technical difficulties, but we'll sort it out to the people anyway. I reckon we'll do this again, you know.
Definitely, 100%. We get that live sorted as well. We'll do a live one for people as well.
Yeah, we can probably do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll probably do that tomorrow, man. But bro, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been a blessing to meet you, and keep up the good work, man, and keep inspiring. And you inspired me, to say the least, mate. Just here today and your videos anyway. So, God bless, mate.
Thank you, bro. I hope to see more of your growth.
Oh, subscribe to the channel. Go follow my guy. See you soon.
Thank you.